It's a PIHL hockey night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
And it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup Playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show. Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
It's a PIHL hockey night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
The 2025 PIHL Penguins Cup High School Hockey Playoffs are on TenbandTV tonight from the Alpha Ice Complex in Harmarville. D2 opening round matchup is number 3 Deer Lakes hosts number 6 Carrick. Good evening and welcome to TBTV's coverage of the road to the 2025 Penguins Cup alongside Bob Orquist and Kevin Somansky. Matt Vandriak center ice with you here this evening. Fellas, Deer Lakes, they come in the number 3 seed, 14-4-2 overall, the number 2 team out of the blue division. Carrick, the number 6 seed, 10-7-3 overall, the second team out of the gold division. And the brackets we have here as we get ready to get this Penguins Cup playoff D2 underway.
Yeah, that would be the bottom half of the bracket. The final pod there on the same side as the 2-7 game. Burrell and Elizabeth forward. They're playing tonight at the Pittsburgh Ice at 8 p.m. Top half is Morgantown, the 1 seed against Gateway, the 8 seed, and Neshannock, the defending champs, the 4 seed against Connellsville, the 5 seed. That's the top half of the bracket.
One game tomorrow. So 3 tonight, Morgantown and Gateway tomorrow.
That game's actually going to be played at the Princecape Arena in South Point as opposed to making Gateway take the truck all the way down to the Morgantown Municipal Ice Rink where I called my first college hockey game many, many years ago. Let's talk about these teams, Bob. Deer Lakes, they come in 14-4-2, as I mentioned, 45 points, second behind Burrell in the blue division. Carrick 10-7-3, 33 points, finishing second in the gold division behind top-seeded and juggernaut Morgantown. It's a Deer Lakes team, though, that can score some goals.
Juggernaut is right. All these teams, most statistical categories, are trailing Morgantown. Deer Lakes, no exception. But they've won 11 of 12, including 3 straight, and those 3 straight wins over Knock, by 8 goals, by Trinity over 5, and then by 9 over Central Valley. For Carrick, they've won 4 of 5, so they've been pretty up. The only loss, wins over Bishop Canavan, Central Valley, Trinity, and Wilmington. The only loss coming to Burrell, who could be a rematch in that one. A 5-4 victory in an overtime shootout on November 25th. A victory for Deer Lakes against Carrick, the only regular season matchup. One of the players we'll talk about when we break down individual, I'm just going to throw it out there, is Ryan Grundon, who's been fantastic. He has over 100 points for his career. He's got 42 goals on the season, which is number one of the few categories you can't find Morgantown leading. Plus an all-star, Ryan Grundon, in the all-star game, 4 goals and 1 assist in a victory in his all-star appearance this year.
42 goals, 16 assists. A good lead on the Cy Young race right there. That's good.
58 points, Kevin, puts him third.
Yeah.
Talked about the teams, Kevin. Deer Lake scoring 104 goals on the regular season. They allowed 44 against. The Lancers, the third highest scoring team in D2. They allowed the second least amount of goals. on the regular season. Quite a difference, though, in goal differential, as Carrick scored a lot less and gave up a lot more.
Yeah, plus 60 for Deer Lakes, 5.2 goals for, 2.2 goals against, scoring margin 60 goals. Carrick has scored 73 for a 3.65 average and allowed 80 for a 4.0 average. Scoring margin is -7, and just, what is that, decimal points, 0.35 differential on an average basis.
Talk about our goaltending matchup tonight for Deer Lakes. We'll see Nikita Oleksienko in the net to our right, and in the net to our left for Carrick, it'll be Reed Richardson.
So Ty Ulanovich, the first-year head coach for Deer Lakes, is going with a split. Keaton Minnick and Oleksienko have kind of split. This will be the 11th start for Oleksienko. 476 minutes, 7-2 on the season. His 203 goals against average is third in D2. The save percentage, .939, is number one. Richardson, this will be his 14th game. He's 9th in minutes played. He's faced the 7 most shots, the 7th most saves, and his save percentage of .889 is 7th for the Cougars.
401 shots to be exact. That's a lot of shots throughout the season. Reed Richardson is
not as many as Tristan Bob's faced for Canada McMillan. He didn't face those all last game, but
it felt like it for a while.
It did indeed.
Both of these teams, too, using goaltending tandems to the regular season.
Yeah, because Matt Piquel, who's the backup, he's played a fair amount. The minutes, he's about 300 minutes. So you don't have the case where it's top-heavy for just the number one guy for either of these teams.
They played on November 25th. It was a shootout win by Deer Lakes, 5-4.
No surprise, Kevin. Ryan Grunden, the only goal in the shootout to get the victory for the Lancers.
He scored the first 2 goals of the game in the first period. And then the shootout winner. When I saw that, there was a lot of goose eggs, but there was a misprint. They had 2 ones in the shootout tracker, but only 1 was scored for the winner.
Right to left, Deer Lakes moves it.
There's a shot. We appreciate those managers. There's 2 shots and 3 actually.
The Lancers bearing down early.
Appreciate those managers putting the shootout information out there for us to find. We don't always get that.
PIHL site, by far the best in all of high school sports, and we appreciate all the work that everybody does on the other side of that.
That is a fact, man.
I had a chance to talk to some of those guys last week when I was emceeing the Burrell High School Hockey Senior Night. I had a chance to talk to some of the PIHL guys and actually see what they do. And it is quite the work that they have to put in to get all this stuff accurate. As we get underway here, right to left, Deer Lakes, the home Lancers, decked out in the white, green, and gold, a la the 1991 Minnesota North Stars. Left to right, the Carrick Cougars will move it. They're decked out in the blue and gold, looking like the old-school Buffalo Sabres.
You know, the Wild used that throwback colors, even though Minnesota is now Dallas for us old guys.
Well, the Penguins won their first cup against those jerseys on the ice as well. But
Yes,
I digress.
they did.
Many,
Yes, they
many
did.
years ago. Most people in the stands and around us probably weren't even born back then, Bob.
None of the players on the ice for sure.
That's for certain. Some of their parents may not have been either.
That's also true.
The years catch up. Deer Lakes coming back as a chance for Mason Cervone. Cervone has his pocket pick. Good job there by Ethan Semenoff as he plays it back out to the neutral zone. We'll talk more about some of these depth players, too, because both these teams have good scoring.
I was just going to say, Cervone, Kevin, it's got 25 goals. That would be the tops on any team that doesn't have the top scorer in the classification in Ryan Grunden.
15 assists for 40 points. The only other double-digit goal scorer is R.J. Norkus with 12. He also had 19 assists.
Back the other way, long dump in there by Kean Conroy. Follow-up try, save made, and covered up by Nikita Oleksienko, who's now in the game. Let's take a look at this Carrick scoring side. They're led by Drew Bird, 15 goals, 13 assists, 28 points. Ivan Mansulich, 9 goals, 17 assists, 26 points. Shane Birkenfeld, 12 goals, 10 assists, 22 points. And Chris Tomasi, 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. Point blast, save made. Oleksienko holds on to it, and a quick
snag
shout
on
out.
the rebound.
Quick shout out as well to the leading scorer of Carrick, Drew Bird, representing my alma mater, Steel Valley.
One other double-digit scorer, Ethan Semenoff with 11 goals, 8 assists for the Cougars.
I'll give you these numbers later on, but you'd be wise maybe to keep Carrick off the power play. They're pretty good with the man advantage.
We'll see if a Penny.com power play chance arises tonight for the Cougars. Deer Lakes bringing it back. Right to left, stood up at center red. There was Blake Toback. And back the other way now comes Carrick. That's Dmitry Valchev. Valchev plays it around here to the near side. And back with it now comes Austin Berry. Picked off at the blue line there by Chris Tomasi. Tomasi over to the left side. Max Hagan, a little too far, and ices the puck. So the first game, quite a transition. A team that saw each other twice during the regular season. Only one matchup between these teams on the regular season. Kevin, familiarity, is that what you want coming to the playoffs, or is it okay to have a little bit of distance?
I don't think it matters all that much. I mean, you might get a few ideas on some of their systems play and what you need to work on for practices, but I don't see a lot of systems being played out here. So I'm not going to stress that as being hugely important in this matchup.
Here's something that could be important, right? Depth, because that's up into the meshing off the stick of Richardson. Carrick has the deeper bench. Whether it's more talented, that's the question. Not as many numbers for Deer Lakes. As a matter of fact, Talulanovich, who recently played for Shaler just a couple of years ago, and then played in the Junior Premier League at Elmira, there's times of the year he's only had 2 defense pairings. So depth and managing minutes could be important.
Shot back towards the net, turned out. Reed Richardson gets a stick on that offering there from Max Servant.
That's not unusual for some of the smaller
D2,
programs.
right? Single A, you see that sometimes. Talulanovich, we mentioned it briefly because Coach Lobig for Foss Chapel is 25. Coach Jelanovich is 21 years old, not that far removed from lacing him up. Part of that fairly successful Shaler program in the PIHL.
Shaler in the 1A playoffs this year. Long shot, glove down by Alexienko, played back to the defense, and that's Jacob Bradley over the near side in front, and a golden chance, as that was almost a goal by Landon Jeffrey in front, and he was almost assisted by the Lancers.
Yeah, the freshman got everything. The net comes off with Alexienko. By the way, head coach for Carrick is Evan Sirakowski. He had a successful career at Bishop Canevin. He's got his brother on the team, and then Evan Sirakowski both played collegiately at Duquesne and Cal U after Bishop Canevin.
Body check behind the net is rubbed out there. Was Mansulich on a solid hit from Redinger. Thrown back to the net, juggled and held onto. Alexienko getting a little bit busy here. And the winner of this game takes on the winner of number 2 Burl, number 7 Elizabeth Forward. That game next Thursday, 8:45 p.m. at the RMU Island Sports Center.
Currently 2-1 Barrel.
Shot to the net from the face-off. Save made by Alexienko as Carrick bringing the pressure here a little bit. Back with it now comes Deer Lakes. Dumping it in. Chris Tomasi ends up falling down.
Yeah, that's what happened. Richardson thought he was going to freeze that, and he didn't.
It's actually Tyler Moeller who fell down in front of him there.
Not sure that is why he wasn't able to freeze that, Reed Richardson.
Up the right side, Deer Lake's going to dump off the stick of Richardson. They want to get a fresh line on. Carrick chases down. Around the horn it goes. Chris Tomasi sets himself up. Has it stolen. Good job there by R.J. Norkus. Norkus turns it back over. Good job by Max Hagan. Up the near side. Steal shot. And Richardson uses his head literally and lost his helmet on a blistering shot from Ryan Grundon that literally took the lid off.
Well, that's not the guy you want to have to steal the puck. He took the steal, Kevin, in one motion, got a really heavy wrist shot, which unsnapped the buckles on the Reed Richardson face mask.
The rising shot right in the mush right there.
Richardson, the young junior, may have seen the young years of his life flash before his face on that. Rip Grundon in tight and literally took the mask right off, but Richardson okay, able to put it back on.
Richardson, 629 minutes, 5-6-2 record. Made 351 saves on 401 shots, 405 goals against, 87.5 save percentage.
Carrick from the draw, they hustle back. Good work there by Kean Conroy. Conroy dumps behind the net. And it's going to be loose over there. Ryan Bogats, lead feet up the right side. Nobody home. Back the other way with it come the Cougars. Max Hagan trying to connect with Kean Conroy. It ends up back in the defensive zone. Now played ahead too far, and that'll be icing.
Grundon, by the way, on that outlet, Matt, was cheating. He waited for his defenseman to come up. Of course, when you have his offensive prowess, you can do that. His dad, by the way, Ryan Grundon's father, is an assistant coach here for Deer Lakes.
When you have the offensive skills like that, Bob, it's not just the finishing ability. You also learn to detect your defenseman and when you can.
So he looked back twice, Kevin.
Yeah.
The point is, it took longer to get out of the zone than I thought. But he saw that his D was going to be on that puck. So that's a safe time to escape the zone.
You kind of learn when you can go and when you can't.
2 shots for the Cougars, 1 for the Lancers. Just under 12 minutes left here in the opening period. No score yet. Shipped back towards the net by Drew Bird. And a second chance at it. Big hit as Birkenfeld got lined up and finished by Jacob Bradley.
And there's a check over there. Hagen knocks a man off his skates.
Shot back towards the net there by Carrick. Goes wide as Hagen finished his check on Trevor Keenan. Could say he put Keenan on his wallet. Here come the Lancers back. Offsides, though, as Deer Lakes will bring some fresh players on behind the play.
There's miscommunication right there, a turnover.
Over here to the near side.
Yeah, against a changing team, right? You've got the numbers. You should be able to cleanly, Carrick, get that puck out of your own zone.
He slid it D to D, but the defense partner went to the front of the net, which is kind of unnecessary when there's no forechecker, and then they lost it.
Drew Bird hustling after that as he floated one off the glass, shoots it towards the net and misses. Deer Lake's going to bring it back the other way. 2-on-2 develops. Trying to stick handle around him, and there's R.J. Norkus. He's cut off. Lancers regroup at center red. Into the zone, here comes Servone. From the left circle, save made, no rebound as Richardson snatches up the try from Mason Servone.
It's sort of like a backhand glove save, right? Reaching across like a first baseman to snag that.
Picking it out of the dirt, you go across your body with the backhand.
Face off in the near circle.
You get that a lot with new goalies. You know, they're used to playing baseball and they try to reach everywhere.
Ethan Semenoff, long shot, save made. And the rebound comes back to the point, kept in, floated towards the net there by Tyler Muller. And into the corner, we bang 4 deep. Deer Lakes comes away with it. Out it comes, chipped by the Lancers. That's going to go the length of the rink. And an icing call, face off back to the Lancer zone. Do all right, fellas. The first game we had here was fast and furious to start. This one here, a little more chopped up early.
Yeah, the pace is a little more choppy, a lot more whistles. The action is not up and down. I don't think we had a whistle in that first game of this doubleheader for at least 5 minutes, if not longer.
Face off one, back to the left point for Carrick. Shot on save made, rebound, kept out. As Alexienko comes up big in front, denying Ethan Semenoff.
That is 2 consecutive offensive zone face-offs that Alexienko's made a save. The first one was a shot. This one a little scrambly after the shot, but give Carrick credit for creating some offense off O-zone face-off wins.
Deer Lakes wins the draw. They'll circle back, trying to break out. Carrick's had the last 4 shots on goal. Norkus trying to change that. Walks in, rising, wrister too high. Big bounce in front. Played off the post. Follow-up try doesn't go.
Nets off.
And the Lancers buzzing there.
I think Grundon's rebound was a right toe save. Just a reaction, right? You spread your body out. Richardson did and kept it out of the net. I think Semenoff blocked the shot. That'd be Ethan Semenoff. He wears number 66. That's hallowed in this town.
Certainly is.
Another glass bounce right there. Bounce off the glass.
That came right to Ryan Bogatz, too. Had a really good look.
Is that our second Joe reference, Kevin Zomansky?
Well, I didn't say that, Joe. There's a good
No,
portion.
I'm thinking it.
Yeah, it's just
It's a different game. You can use the same material.
I'm just saying the way that's been bouncing off this glass today, it's been unusual. It's really hard bounces right in front of the net, too.
You would think Deer Lake's more familiar with that, right?
Be.
Being the home team.
They absolutely should be.
And the Lancers need to touch up. Deer Lake's 5-5, actually, in regular season games played here at the Alpha Ice Complex. Carrick, they were 5-5 in road games. Bradley, big shot, fired wide. Centering feed cut off. Good job there by Carrick Shane Birkenfeld. And the Cougars going to move it out. Lexi Droshak gives chase. Has it cut off there defensively by Austin Very. Dumps it back into the Carrick zone. And Brian Pollock up the near side, can't get it out, kept in. Top of the circle, shot on, save made by Richardson. And he holds for the draw as R.J. Norkus from the right circle try to put it in.
Norkus with a nice job to read that, the sophomore, and then to get a good wrist shot. So a pinch, he's a forward though. He was an all-star. R.J. Norkus had an assist in the all-star event.
Good crowd here for the second game.
Indeed. Carrick traveling well on the far side of the rink. The Deer Lakes faithful in front of us here on the near side. Face-off win comes back to the right point, floated towards the net, redirected wide. Servone chases to the corner. Back to Bradley at the point, fakes the shot, now tries to put on the stick of Norkus, and played out, well defended by Carrick, and now Kean Conroy going to chase it all the way back down into the Deer Lake zone. Conroy battling into the corner there with Servone. Servone comes away as Bradley helps.
Put good pressure on John Dolan, right, to create that.
Lead feed. Here comes Ryan Grundon. Grundon, tough angle, and he almost puts it home.
66 has done that a few times. 87, a lot of times in this town. That hit, I don't know if it hit the mask or the stick.
I think it hit the back of his helmet.
Yeah, you can hear that noise. Talk about an extreme angle surprise shot, Kevin.
That puck on the, I guess you would call it some, I don't know what it's made of, like the fiberglass of the mask. You know, you could hear that distinct sound. He threw it from that bad angle. Lefty retrieved that in the corner and fired it at the back of the goalkeeper.
If it keeps up like this, Reed Richardson's going to need some Advil before the night's over.
Or a new mask, right? It's tested the front of the mask, the side of it, now the back of it.
Both shots by Grundon, too. Big hit in the corner there. Stepping up's Chris Tomasi for Carrick. Deer Lakes keeps possession of the puck. Centering try and tight score! R.J. Norkus puts the mesh in motion. And the Lancers strike first with 7:48 left here in the opening period.
Really good feed right there by Grundon. He had it below the goal line. Norkus find himself a little bit of space. I was watching Grundon to really take a look. I can see it right now coming off, Matt, looking at his blade. It's got a big curve on it, which is why those pucks, those shots are going in the air. But that time he was able to use it to make a nice little deft pass, and Norkus with the finish.
That's 13 for Norkus.
He tucked that one in perfectly.
And Grundon gets the helper, we assume. That'll be his 59th point, his 17th assist. He didn't like that Cy Young comment, Kevin.
That's it. Do something about it. He made the assist right there. He probably doesn't even understand
Cy Young is a hockey reference to people who have way more goals than assists.
We have to remember to inform the audience sometimes because we're not getting any younger, boys.
Wow.
Next Sunday I'll be 39-ish again.
Here comes a chance back. Backhander blocker save made as Blake Toback. Good try. Toback gets a second crack at it down low.
Good stick handling by Toback, and then he almost shoveled that backhander short side.
Ryan Bogats picks up the second assist on the goal. So, Bob, you had it right.
Yeah, Grundon and Bogats. By the way, Ryan Grundon, that is career point number 123, his 45th career assist. He's got 78 career goals.
Jacob Buchholz works it back in his own zone, now turns it over. Grundon makes the steal. Tough angle shot. Glove save by Reed Richardson.
So not as tough as the first one, right? And then Richardson was wise to that one, like the first one, and snagged it easily. But Grundon, you can tell why he's the top goal scorer in this class.
Just a really, really, really sloppy pass, softly into the slot area by that defenseman.
4 reelies on that one. That was the coaching you coming out.
Sloppy here, turning it over in front, and luckily for
that comes off.
Carrick, the net came off because that pass was put on the tape of Mason Servone. Kevin with another sloppy turnover there by the Cougars. Of course, Kevin Zilmansky, former head coach and Penguins Cup winner at Bishop Canevin and Central Catholic, joining us here. His shrine's available for viewing on your way into the Alpha.
That's it. Drop a coin in the fountain. Also a reminder that these nets move quite often.
A lot here at the Alpha.
We've learned 2 things at the Alpha. The glass has some crazy caroms, and the nets come off the moorings a lot.
It's just a very small point on the end of the mooring to go into the ice for safety reasons, but it does cause issues with the flow of play.
Kean Conroy makes the steal, going to lead the charge back the other way, dumps it in for Max Hagen to give chase, but Nikita Oleksienko will cut that off and hold.
Let me ask you a gamesmanship question for both of you. And you think goalies call this place home? Know that?
Oh,
and
for sure
do
they
it
know.
to their advantage?
I would say not the younger ones, but the experienced ones that know that happens. If they realize that they need a change, they might be able to do a hard slide across.
Puck played back down low. Carrick trying to get a little bit of a flurry here. The Cougars have a 6-5 edge in shots, but Deer Lakes has the only goal on the board here so far this period.
That was your guy, Drew Bird, the Iron Man in Cougar colors, who almost got that shot through.
Carrick is a co-op of Carrick High School, Alderdice, Steel Valley, and West Mifflin.
All teams, I'm not sure of West Mifflin, but those other schools have had programs. Alderdice was a good program a while ago.
I was teammates with a lot of players from Alderdice when I was playing amateurs in Central and high school. And Alderdice had a really good team. 99, Andrew Dealey was a star player. Ended up playing soccer at Yale. Phenomenal soccer player. So they were good. And I had teammates in amateurs from Steel Valley also.
Puck off the glass, stays in play. Toback can't find it. Follow up on a little bit more of that old school hockey in a minute here as we get an icing call. Perfect timing. I can't remember which one of you guys it was, but if you remember the Winter Classic of 2011, they had the auxiliary rink set up outside of Heinz Field. Carrick and Alderdice played in a City League outdoor game that year.
I played a game there. I got a great picture of Heinz Field in the background and the sign with the team on the ice. And I also played at one when they put it over on the south side when I was coaching at Canavan. It was freezing that night. I was wearing a bomber hat.
Drew Bird tries to fire a bomb towards the net and ends up off the glass. The outdoor games were fun for the PIHL, probably more so for the players, because I remember it being 0 and then some doing one up in North Park back in about 2010. Try, save made. Rebound, denial, seems it had to come. Seven Dust had the lyrics, but Reed Richardson has the save.
So he plays the legs out, right? That's why you've got the flexible groin when you're a keeper. And it was a self-deflection, almost an own goal.
Yeah, it was almost an OG right there.
He keeps his left pad. Number one, he keeps it
low
out, but he keeps it, they're jamming at it, and he keeps it, the puck outside of the goal line.
Skate blade strong on the post, so he's able to hold it, but he's also able to lower it enough so it doesn't squeeze underneath it.
Makes a save on a high tip from Grundon there.
Off the right point try from Bogatz, who already has an assist. He and Grundon combining to set up that first goal. As we see Mansulich coming back the other way, going to throw one from outside the zone and sticked aside by Oleksienko.
You know, man, I was at a snowstorm in an outdoor coverage in North Park, one of those outdoor games.
I was at South Park in 2010 for that outdoor game when the blizzard of 2010 hit. And, of course, no one had the wherewithal to decide to cancel that game because you can't play hockey when it's snowing, especially when there's 3 feet of it.
Timing is everything, right? That was bad timing.
For being a good soldier, my 2003 Monte Carlo SS got smashed on the way home.
That was the third time we've seen Grundon with a angle shot from along the goal line. That time it was from the right goal line extended.
That had to be part of the pregame discussion, to shoot from everywhere, because they've certainly done it from a lot of bad angles.
Deer Lakes with the puck. But Grundon sends it back to the point. One-time try there on the rip from Servone, goes wide.
Almost had to bounce off the boards, right?
That was Joe Lewis-like right there.
Well, I think we're going to have to coin the term alpha bounce.
Yes.
Lead feet up the right side, trying to spring loose Grundon too far. The icing call against the Lancers brings the faceoff back to the zone to our right. So we'll reset after our nostalgia of PIHL outdoor games and our trek through the City League schools past. We'll reset here. Deer Lakes 1, Carrick nothing.
Kevin, give me the Ryan Grundon numbers, add the assist, and I'm going to give you a comparison of how.
Ryan Grundon, 42 goals, 16 assists, add the one, so he's at 17.
20 and 17 last year for Grundon, which is good in itself, but shows you the step he's taken from junior to senior.
Great backhand feed in front, big save made.
So Drew Bird right, wide open, right? Matt?
Better save.
He got in too tight, maybe.
Oleksienko fills up a lot of the net, too.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. Certainly did there.
Huge save. That's the guy Deer Lakes wants on the doorstep. Their leading scorer, Drew Bird. But Oleksienko with the big stop. Bodies bang on the far side as Mansulich finished his check off on Catalano. And now it's getting a little chippy out here.
Ty Moeller, great stick, or that would have been a high slot hash mark opportunity for Deer Lakes.
Puck ends up on the stick of Austin Very, who shoots wide. And now Carrick going to bring it back the other way, a 1-on-3. That's Birkenfeld, long shot, deflected into the meshing, and we'll face it off.
There's the other thing you can see for Nikita Alexienko. He's got the travel shorts on with the red stars on it.
Those are S-mark stars.
Yep. And they, you see that sometimes a lot with the goaltenders, and the equipment may not match the color scheme of their high school team. It's because of that.
Face-off shot, save made. Straight from the draw. It was a good win.
Three times now, Matt. Three.
Yeah, Buckles won it right back to Semenoff, and the save made. Long shot on, and that's covered up as Grundon shot that one from outside the blue line. Richardson has to hold.
Same way with Grundon. He's got the black and red gloves on.
You like the familiar feel of your mitts.
Face-off win. Grundon fires. Rebound saved unknowingly by Reed Richardson, who thought he had that puck in the glove. But then it ends up on the ice in front of him, and luckily for Richardson, Norkus shot it right back into his body.
His head was turned. Yeah. Richardson's head was turned when he made that save.
He was looking for that puck behind him.
Back towards the net, Grundon in tight, trying a wraparound, and Richardson will stretch out to the far post and cover it.
He got a little sneaky there, Ryan Grundon. He thought he was going to come around, right? And he stopped on a dime and then tried to tuck it short side. Richardson held the posts, keeps it 1-0.
Slam on the brakes and try to go back to the same side for the sneaky tuck in.
Face off on the right circle. Won by the Lancers from the right point. Shot on, deflected, score! Bogats took the shot, and the deflection by
Two for
R.J.
Norkus.
Norkus.
High tip. Sometimes the most difficult to track for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, that was a really nice tip. Just kind of changed the pace and the direction ever so slightly, and the goalkeeper, Richardson, Matt, was kind of sliding to the right, maybe a little too much, but it's kind of hard to tell because the puck never got through. And once it got past the dot, you could see Richardson wasn't going to be able to reach back.
Norkus looking for the natty hattie early on as he drives his way down, centers. So Bogats will get his second assist, and that one goes right under the stick of Max Redinger, who was camped out in front. Carrick back the other way, chips it ahead to Massey, all the way to the net, covered up by Alexienko. Grundon gets an assist, so the same three coming through again.
6 points, 2 apiece. 2 goals Norkus, 2 helpers for Grundon and Bogats.
Grundon and Bogats seniors. Norkus only a sophomore, so he'll be picking up the flag for this program next year. Oh, what
there's
a
redirect. Big save by Alexienko. As right in front of the net, Landon Jeffrey, a great redirection off that left point shot by Tomasi. Very back the other way with speed. Very centers and could not connect there with the trailer on the play.
Tell you what, that rush down the left wing, there was room with the RVH for Reed Richardson.
Blake Toback was the trailer there, and Austin Very could not connect on the pass. Final 50 seconds now of this opening period. Deer Lakes out to a 2-0 lead. 2 goals for R.J. Norkus.
Norkus an all-star. Grundon an all-star. Alexienko, the third representative for the Lancers.
Back the other way. Mansulitz trying to get Carrick on the board before the period ends. Pass to the low left circle. Save made. As he set up to Massey. But this arm stop made by Nikita Alexienko, who's been strong through this first period, stopping all 9 Cougar shots. Lancers bring it back up 2. They'll dump it into the Carrick zone. Final 15 of the period. Mansulitz dumps it in. Takes another alpha bounce.
Yeah, I'll hit on that at the next period. We're running down here in the first period.
Final 5 seconds as the Lancers exit the zone. The linesman picks up a check as the horn sounds to end here opening period of hockey. 17 minutes in the books here from the Alpha Ice Complex in Harmarville. D2 opening round matchup. Number 3, Deer Lakes leads number 6, Carrick 2-0 after 1. We'll take a break and be back with your second period. You're watching the 2025 Road to the Penguins Cup, the PIHL High School Hockey Playoffs on TenbandTV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
Gonna get up, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair. Cross ice, and it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup Playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show. Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
Back here at the Alpha Ice Complex in Harmarville, period number 2 getting underway. D2 opening round matchup, Deer Lakes and Carrick. The number 3 Lancers lead the number 6 Cougars 2-0 after one. The 2025 Road to the Penguins Cup on TenbandTV alongside Bob Orquist and Kevin Zilmansky. Matt Vandriak center ice with you here. 2 goals in the opening period for the Lancers, both off the stick of number 36. RJ Norka, 7-off, trying to get back for Carrick. He had a good first period. Backhands that one wide of the net. We'll get you that scoring recap in just a second. As Mansulich and the Cougars buzzing here early in this period. Pass comes out to the point. Muller through traffic. Save Alexienko. Rebound squirts away.
So he's down, right? Which you normally do when there's traffic in front. He saw it the last second. There's Norkus still working for the Natty Hattie, as you said.
Tries to get around the defense of Carrick and got stood up by Brian Pollock on a good check.
Can't beat a natty hattie now. We're in the next period.
It still counts.
Alpha rules. Score! You ask, you shall receive. R.J. Norkus, hat trick Lancers, and it's 3-0 Deer Lakes, 55 seconds into the second period.
For Norkus, his 15th of the season, and he's got it going. The speed through the neutral zone right there, Matt, gets him into the zone, and that time it got right on his stick, the right shot on the left side of the slot. He beat Richardson to the far post, and it is 3-0 Lancers.
Norkus with all 3, and Deer Lake strikes early in the second period, pushing their lead to 3-0. Carrick trying to rebound and regroup. Here comes Bird. Breaks the zone, has Conroy going towards the net, puts it on his stick. Conroy tries to split the defense. Great recovery by Deer Lake's Jacob Bradley. Tomasi tries to keep it in. Conroy working hard. Tomasi gets it back. Sending it back to the defense now. And Carrick slowly sets it up there. Jacob Bradley dumping it back into the, I'm sorry, not Jacob Bradley, but Tyler Moeller dumping it back into the Deer Lake zone where Bradley returns the favor. So
Well, just put your name down, flip it, or that's all
familiar
the same,
script,
right?
Familiar script. Centering try, save Richardson, rebound Richardson, keeps it out with the glove as Max Redinger was looking to add to this Deer Lakes lead. So Kevin, Bobby, whoever, Norkus has them all. We can run it down.
Yeah, he does. By the way, Norkus, 2 goals and 2 assists in Trinity. So Norkus from Grundon and Bogatz, 9-12, and then Bogatz and Grundon at 15-18, and this one in the third period, Grundon and Bogatz. And a good wrist shot from R.J. Norkus, who now has 15 markers on the year.
Thanks to the Google machine, Matt. Bob looked it up. He's right. Natural hat trick, according to what? I thought it was 1 period.
61 points now for Grundon. Didn't even talk about Bogatz.
Who throws it to the net and has a stick save made there by Richardson.
Bogatz had 5 assists
on the season
coming in. He's got 3 tonight.
Rising shot just misses there as Deer Lakes is buzzing now. Centering feed. Finding it. Down the right side. Grundon behind the net, taken off. Solid check by Tomasi, lined him up behind the net. But now Mason Cervone has it. Along the left wall. Has it poke checked, but kept in by the Catalano for a second, but then forced back out of the zone on the persistence there by Jacob Buchholz.
Chargers 16-10, but give credit to Nikita Alexienko. He's made not great saves, but good saves, right? Especially off the face-off wins by Carrick.
Yeah, he's been sharp.
His teammates have helped him out. Their 3-0 lead. That's what you need. This is the 3-6 matchup. Winner gets Borough or EF. That's the 2-7 matchup.
Game underway.
Let's get a score on that one.
We get some scores. We'll try to get you all the scores from around the PIHL between the second and third, but we're going to keep it at D2 for now.
3-2 Barrel. Mechanic 4-3 over Collinsville.
That's your D2 outlook with Morgantown and Gateway facing off tomorrow night.
Birkenfeld gets thumped at center circle by Jacob Bradley. Long shot sticked aside by Richardson. Fed back to the net. Richardson gets the paddle down again. Bradley looks it over, fires! Save Richardson, who again uses his head.
3 times. That caught him in the throat protector. Doesn't have the gobbler on there, but caught him in the bottom of the mask.
Well, you talk about things you don't see in a game.
Better go. You better go.
Times.
Someone better go back to the locker room and check that backup mask in his equipment bag because his current mask is taking a beating in this one.
So that's the third time we've seen Reed Richardson use his head.
The old coconut.
That's usually reserved for soccer goalkeeping.
And these were all unintentional, right? Henrik Lundqvist used to do that intentionally.
Hasek was the first one to start doing that.
Well, Hasek was the most unconventional goalie.
He made the Scorpion save a thing as we have an icing call here against the Cougars.
Look at that pass.
That's from Alexienko.
Right to the linesman. To the dot for the faceoff.
Don't give him any ideas, Bob, in case of an empty net situation. Face-off win, turning it from the draw and firing wide. For Deer Lakes there was Charlie Stefanik.
Not sure if that hit a shin pad or the left pad of Reed Richardson.
Down the near side, trying to keep it in for the Cougars. There's Dmitry Valchev. Back the other way, Hagen hustling back to try to prevent a 2-on-1. Jaden Eisenman almost had a chance there for Deer Lakes, but bringing it back here for the Cougars, Dmitry Valchev. And he's rubbed out in the lower corner. Comes back to Hagen at the left point. Gets around one man. Spins away from a second. Hagen to the circle. Look at him go. Nice feed in front.
Oh, my goodness.
Save. The first shot was missed. The Semenoff shot was stopped. What a play to set up Birkenfeld, who fired just wide. But
so,
Max Hagen.
Yes, Matt. You thought the best play that Hagen would have made was breaking up the 2-on-1. Then he's bobbing and weaving and spinning and turning and creates a great opportunity. At the other end, there was another alpha bounce, too, off that shot miss.
Yeah, Birkenfeld with that big rip that missed, and then that alpha bounce came to the stick of Ethan Semenoff, who put it back to the net, but Alexienko able to keep it out.
Put on the Ritz. You did a pretty good job of demonstrating that.
I was
for those at home wanting to know.
Tough angle shot. Good stop made there as Mansulitz put it on. I was trying to get you to give me the Ric Flair Dance All Night Long reference there on what Hagen did on that play. In turn, you just got to see me shimmy instead.
It was a nice spin.
Tomasi back to the net, sticked out.
Spin that eluded 2 players. This is kind of inspired Carrick.
Yeah, the Cougars need one, and they've kept possession here for a while. Tomasi, as this one's played up, almost ends up in the Cougar bench.
Careful, that's Norkus, who has all 3 goals in this game.
Landon Jeffrey circles back into his own zone for the Cougars, pushes it back to Tyler Moeller. Moeller moves it to center red, where Drew Bird tries to move it ahead. Bird battling with a scrum of players along the far wall there at center ice. Deer Lakes will take it back.
So Norkus is back because Catalano, he got fortunate, Carter Catalano. He pinched up towards the red line. And if he doesn't get that puck, it's a 2-on-1. But Norkus, using his head, covers up for his defense partner. That's deflected up into the meshing.
Cervone tries to put it on off the stick of the Cougars. The faceoff stays in the Carrick zone to our right. So we take a look back at that first game when these teams met on November 25th at the Ice Castle. Deer Lakes ends up winning 5-4 in a shootout, but the Lancers led that game 3-0 in the second, 4-2 in the third, before Carrick scored twice in the final minute and 7 seconds, 26 seconds apart, to tie that game up and send it to OT.
Landon Jeffrey on the power play and Shane Birkenfield, even strength.
Alexienko and Richardson were the goalies that night.
And a big save by Alexienko, as Kevin just mentioned. Landon Jeffrey put it right on Drew Bird's stick, but Alexienko shuts the door.
Bird not happy. Bird is not. He's had the best opportunities
Did you say he was
for Carrick.
chirping there, Kevin?
I would say that.
Words that can't be said on the air.
Well, it's a hockey word.
I think it was Jeffrey, though.
But that was a good opportunity. Alexienko's been good. He's got 13 saves on 13 shots.
Mansulich to the net. Jeffrey tries to get the deflection. Right pad save made. In front, Jeffrey can't find it. Tomasi pinches in, and Deer Lakes will break it back the other way.
3-on-2.
Down the right side for the Lancers is Trevor Keenan. He'll play it all the way around, giving an opportunity here for Toback.
Keenan didn't know. Matt Redinger was unhappy because Keenan didn't know it was a 3-on-2, and he dumped it in.
Keenan was getting towards the end of his shift as well, but as you mentioned before, Kevin, awareness important, especially in the playoffs.
That's the safer play, right? Especially if you're tired.
Yeah, if you're tired, you got to get in deep and get off for sure. That's, again, gets into the young players in the communication.
Redinger could have tapped his stick, right? Let him know that I'm open.
Yell.
Rising shot off the cuff of the glove. Semenoff puts it on. He's had some good chances, Ethan Semenoff has, but Nikita Alexienko's been perfect so far tonight, stopping all 14 Cougar shots. Norkus trying to get around Hagen, and it goes off of his skates, and Richardson will take no chances covering it up.
Semenoff, just a sophomore, by the way. 19 games for Grundon out of the 20. No one for Deer Lakes has played the entire season. Same for Carrick. But 3+ points a game, that's pretty good, right? Grundon over 3 points a game when he's in the lineup. He's got that match tonight already with 3 helpers. That's a nice.
It's going to be a nice, yeah. Carrick Birkenfeld sends the length.
If you ever get a chance to sit rinkside, and I've only done it a few times, and it's been many, many years, especially if you're a young hockey player, the amount of conversation that happens between teammates in an NHL game during the play is what I'm trying to highlight and spotlight in terms of communicating, calling for the puck, I guess is the best way. Call for it.
We had a situation in the first game where a player got a breakaway because they didn't let the D know there was someone behind them.
Deer Lakes takes it away at center end. That's John Dolan. He moves it ahead and returned back by Hagen of Carrick. Now Norkus trying to split the defense. Norkus cut off. Good defensive play there by Pollock. And now Semenoff back the other way. Leads a charge for Carrick. Semenoff through traffic. Save made. No rebound as Alexienko able to see that one despite the efforts of Semenoff to use the Deer Lakes D-man as a screen.
I think he did use the D-man perfectly as a screen coming down the left wing. Give credit to Semenoff. Good tracking to the near posts to keep Carrick off the board.
You're supposed to size that up as a forward when you cross the blue line. What is the gap of the defenseman? If they're backing in, then that's when you use them that's when you best use them as a screen.
It was Dolan was backing, and he did a good job. Maybe didn't get everything on the wrist shot, but
3-0 Lancers lead. 9.5 left here in period number 2. All 3 goals off the stick of Deer Lakes' R.J. Norkus, the Natty Hattie. Here this evening, stakes the Lancers to a 3-0 lead. Carrick's had some chances. It's not like they've been completely outplayed in this game. Shots are just 17-15, but Nikita Alexienko has been stellar for the Lancers so far. From the point, floater held on to there by Richardson off the stick of Ryan Bogatz, who's almost doubled his season assist total here tonight.
A knuckle puck from the right point.
I heard Kevin say that once before.
Yeah, it was an interesting play right there because there was no icing called. So
it was certainly, I thought it was deflected, which I thought was a good call.
So Deer Lakes won the foot race, and they were able to get it at the net, so now they get the zone draw, offensive zone draw.
And Carrick takes care of business, though. Tomasi.
Yeah, Tomasi going to go coast to coast with it. Follows his pass all the way around to the far side, circles. Tomasi turns, shoots, and it's fought off with the glove by the Lancers goaltender, Alexienko. Tomasi continuing, throws this one towards the net. Very deflects it wide for the Lancers. Thrown back, deflection in front! And a diving effort by the defense. Now it's thrown back. Sprawled out on the ice. Alexienko keeps it out. But Deer Lakes Carter Catalano with the save of the night there.
Yeah, Alexienko is not hurt. He's just thanking the stars above that his defense laid out to keep it 3-0.
And that was Carter Catalano who dove back to make that stop. And then with Alexienko prone on the ice, he's able to use that big body to keep the puck out as well. Soft shot to the net. Pad save made and then pushed away by Alexienko. And that try from Landon Jeffrey.
Second time in this period we've seen a good pushback shift from Carrick, trailing by 3.
Mentioned the Cougars trailed 3-0 in the only regular season meeting between these teams and were able to battle back, tie the game, send it to OT before the Lancers won 5-4 in the shootout. Tomasi turning try, and that goes wide. Carrick player Feld, and Deer Lake's going to get an opportunity here to get it out. Up the left side, Redinger. Now a little give and go. Chasing after it, dropping it back, circle shot, partially blocked. Cougars get the clear as Austin Very couldn't get that one on net. Now Tomasi, since he's been out here forever, it's an Alexei Kovalev shift. Big wrist shot there and a blocker stop made by Alexienko. Jeffrey finds it, backhands it towards the net. Loose puck fouled. All the way around the net, centers again, shot, save made, rebound, score! Drew Bird would not be denied. And Carrick on the board. What a shift for the Cougars. And Carrick's leading scorer finds the net to cut the deficit to 2.
No question, a great shift and finally rewarded for their efforts as Bird gets his 16th. So the puck went behind and was scrambling, right? So the D allowed Alexienko to reset. He made a great save, but couldn't get the rebound, Kevin. And it pops free to the near side. And Bird, who has 16, right, the top goal scorer, not going to miss many opportunities with the net open like that.
Well, we've seen Alexienko, he's very active, and maybe that time he over-pursued a little bit. Great patience to hold on to the puck, go behind the net, but he made a fantastic recovery save to get in the blue paint, make the save.
Norcus centers and unable to put it home on a great try there is Grundon.
But as Matt said, Bird would not be denied, and Bird was the word. He got that one.
Tough angle shot, hits the outside of the net.
Carrick is now all shot Deer Lakes in this game. 19-18.
Alexienko with 18 saves. Had them all until that last shot by Drew Bird. She mentioned the leading scorer for the Cougars. Stakes Carrick back into this game, but Deer Lake's trying to take that 3-goal lead back. Centering try. Fed back to the net. Mansulich and Jeffrey get the assists. And puck ends up on the Carrick bench, so we're going to get a face-off here. I'm sorry, the Deer Lakes bench.
Mentioned 2, that was almost an extended shift, right? 2 really good shifts for Carrick. Finally get a goal. Looking a little tired out there with 6.5 to go, just over 6.5 to go.
That's how you build momentum.
Second. Right, correct. You don't want to give one up the other way now that you got your first.
Back the other way now for Deer Lakes. Norcus on defense, trying to keep it, and ends up going back to the keeper who almost put on the stick of Drew Bird, who's starting to find his game. Birkenfeld shot ends up hitting Semenov in the midsection. He tries to turn it back in or towards the net. Norcus works it, and Deer Lakes brings it back with a rush. Offsides, though. Servone was trying to slow down a bit. Bob and Grundon crossed the line.
Well, you can't. Grundon's got 2 speeds, and they're fast and faster. And Servone made a little move, and Grundon was a good 2 strides up ahead on the left wing.
Quick shift for that line for Deer Lakes there, Matt. And talking about building momentum, that was going to be Carrick was going to have to survive that shift from those top scorers for Deer Lakes right there. And they almost had an opportunity on the rush, but they went off sides to help Carrick's cause defensively. So see if the Cougars can now build on their momentum.
Tomasi out there. He had part of that good shift.
It was a long shift, and here he comes again. Tomasi looks it over. Rising shot, flagged down. Alexienko flashes the leather.
Bird back out there. Clean, right? That's the key. You absorb the puck, you catch the puck, rebound control. A big-time key to playing goal.
They had a pass across. They could have drove the net, or they need to keep that one low for the rebound to be available.
the POP, right? Pass off the pads would have worked.
Or create a scramble.
Bird tries to throw it back towards the net, cut off by Deer Lakes and back the other way. Very dumps it in. Too far, though, as Toback couldn't track it down. We'll get icing. Face-off coming back into the Deer Lakes zone to our left. 19 shots for the Cougars, 18 for the Lancers, but Deer Lakes leads 3-1. Natural hat trick for Deer Lakes' R.J. Norkus. Stake the Lancers to a 3-0 lead before Drew Bird tallied to cut the deficit to 2 for the Cougars. Face off in the left dot, Bird. Back to Jeffrey, stick save made by Alexienko. This line's been good for Carrick. Jeffrey tries to center, looking for Jacob Buckles in front. Jeffrey pushing it back towards the net, Bird behind the net. Comes here to the near side. Buckles finds it, plays it off the blocker of Alexienko, but away it goes. Keenan for the Lancers. Lead feed. Here comes Toback. 2-on-3 back the other way. Toback drags and drifts to the right circle as a trailer in front. Redirect goes just wide as Very tips it to the left of the cage.
That was almost a fantastic play.
It would have been very nice had he finished it.
Just to know your teammate was at that far post, Kevin.
It was very close.
Here comes an opportunity back the other way. Buckles throws it to the net. And Bogat sends it back the other way. Keenan trying to give chase here for the Lancers.
That would have took advantage of the line change if Keenan got that cleanly.
Catalano down low. One-time try by Toback blocked. And Carrick clears. Here comes Bird trying to chase it down. Bird against Bogat. Spins, centers. Going to get it back as Bird as he tried to find Birkenfeld. Stolen back by Deer Lakes. Both teams with tired bodies out there right now.
Well, Bogat's is a defenseman. He's out there playing forward for Deer Lakes.
Birkenfeld trying to work his way out of that five-man scrum along the far boards. Carrick back with it here. And it's going to be Tomasi. Bringing it across center red with speed. Here comes Tomasi. To the right side. Birkenfeld. Big shot. Save made. And look at that try. Saw Tomasi try to play it off the back of the goaltender Alexienko.
Not a bad idea. Didn't have any teammates really out front. Keep the scramble alive. Here he comes again.
Tomasi trying to split the defense. Tomasi cut off. Good job by Bojack and Dolan to team up on it there. Deer Lakes brings it back. Lead feed. Here comes Redinger. Drops it back. Norkus couldn't handle it cleanly, so he'll tip it to himself. Now throwing it towards the net from the right side. Flag down by Grundon. Backhanded towards the net with the stops made by Double R, Reed Richardson. Semenoff back the other way. Drops it back. One-timer. And Birkenfeld's offering flies wide. Hagen steps in and finishes his check for the Cougars. Got to get back on side now. Chipped in. Conroy gives chase to the left circle. Gets around him, and Conroy, nice feed. Better read, though, as getting back for the Lancers was Norkus.
Yeah, Norkus with a nice job. Semenoff was the man in front.
Giveaway. Mansulitz trying to drag it around everybody, and Dolan takes it away, then gets shoved to the boards for his troubles. Hagen trying to work through a triple team. Back to Semenoff at the left point. Couldn't keep it in and ends up in the Carrick bench. And the faceoff moves back to our left. 2:46 left here in the period. 3-1 Lancers, but since that Carrick goal, the Cougars have found some momentum. They've had the last 5 shots on goal.
Yeah, they've got a 13-6 advantage here in the second period as well.
There's a good chance with the offensive zone faceoff to get that one more goal before the end of this period in the intermission. 2:46 on the clock.
Mansulich goes forward instead of back to Semenoff. Another icing call.
Do it again. The draw in the home zone to our left. Again, the winner of this one takes on either number 2 Burl or number 7 Elizabeth forward. That game next Thursday, March the 13th. 8:45 p.m. start at the RMU Island Sports Center. If you're lucky enough, you'll have some combination of this trio there. That being us in the booth. The other guys on the ice will be there too. They kind of have to be. Mansulich throwing it back towards the net. Battle goes to the corner. Puck ends up on the stick there of Deer Lakes' Charlie Stefanik. Now back the other way. Here comes Toback. Toback shot, pad, save made. And Very couldn't find the rebound. Thrown back to the net, and Richardson, another big stop for the Cougars.
2 big saves, right? Hagen blows a tire, which leads to those opportunities.
Oh, that was offsides.
Stefanik had that second look, and Richardson had to be sharp to get back and make that second save. Steal by Jeffrey. Trying to poke it down low. Catalano takes it back the other way. He'll feed it back to the neutral zone. Jeffries steps up and finishes Stefanik in front of the Carrick bench as he brings the boom.
Give credit to Charlie Stefanik, right? Playoffs.
Didn't shy away from the hit.
He took the hit, didn't go back after. That's the key, right? Didn't go back after Jeffrey to take the retaliation penalty.
You can see out there, Jeffrey's probably the biggest or thickest
of the Cougars. Yeah. He's got the linebacker build.
Yes.
Carrick sends it up the far side. Bird chips it. He was on the right side of the red line and won't make it far enough anyway for icing. Jeffrey bearing down. He blows the tire. Fortunately, he's okay as he hit the end boards. Hagen finds it. Has his pocket picked by Norcus. Servone joins the fray. Hagen going to bring it back the other way. Here he comes across the blue line. Hagen double team. Chips it towards the net. And Alexienko will take no chances. Gloving and covering with 1:24 left here in the second period.
You know, their own zone draw for the Carrick Cougars here, trying to make something happen. Trying to cut this lead in half.
Last shift, it was near dot. This at the far dot. So Mansulich, he's a lefty, so it's on his off circle. Can't shoot it from there.
Puck chipped down, fed back towards the net. Norcus finds it, gets it back from Catalano. And up the left side, here come the Lancers. Servone trying to get behind the defense. Grundon going to bring it back instead. Has Norcus trailing. Norcus tries to take it to the net. Great recovery by Tyler Moeller. And he's going to lead the charge back the other way now for the Cougars. Final minute of the period. Moeller dumps it in. Going to chase after it as Servone goes to the corner. Servone wins the race. Norcus joins the help. Jeffrey jumps in for Carrick. He comes away with the puck. Jeffrey looks it over. Trying to find Tomasi at the left point. Good defensive work there by Ryan Grundon. And now back the other way comes Servone. To his left, Servone shoots and blocked by Bird, who's back playing the defense as well.
Good job by Bird. Nice move at the blue line to shift on his skates and turn left by Servone to create that opportunity. So he's on the right wing, ends up near the left circle, but a better job by Bird, as you said, the senior forward who back playing defense.
Players are always going to prefer to cut to their forehand like that.
Face off in the right circle. 37 ticks left here on the second period clock.
Unless you're that Crosby guy.
I heard he's pretty good at hockey.
He's got a good backhand, too. He might be all right.
Grundon going to dump it in. Thrown towards the net from the left point. That goes wide as it wasn't Grundon, but it was Bradley who put it on. Cougars bring it back. Bird up the right side. Big slap shot coming. Easy glove save and held on to by Alexienko. And we'll do the draw on the home zone to our left with 10.7 seconds left here in the second period.
Should be the 13th shot of the period for Carrick.
Good change here by Carrick's staff to put Jeffrey, the big guy, in the slot right here.
Carrick also the only goal in this period. Again, though, Mansulich has to pull it to the boards, being a lefty.
Hagen sends it over. In front, redirect by Bird. Save made. And the punt net comes off the moorings as Alexienko, welcome to Splitsburg.
Help me
sprawling
out.
All the way out.
Help me out, guys. Splitsburg, he has like a 12-foot wingspan with his pads spread out. It's incredible. I'm talking about pulling to the boards, Kevin. Ends up to be a great play in front of Bird.
Carrick pulls the goalie now to get the extra attacker out here with 2.7 seconds left in the period.
Yeah, I like the move.
And the face-off just laid on there by Norcus as the horn sounds to end period number 2.
Nice escapability by the official. Almost got hit with that shot.
He got a right-handed shot out that time to try to push it forward with Hagen, the defenseman, taking the draw.
2 chapters written, 1 more at least still to be told here at the Alpha Ice Complex in Harmarville. D2 opening round matchup. It's Tear Lakes 3, Carrick 1. We'll take a break and we'll be back with your third period of action. You're watching the 2025 PIHL Penguins Cup Playoffs on TenbandTV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
12 goals, 10 assists, 22 points. And Chris Tomasi, 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. Point blast, save made. Alexienko holds on to a long shot, glove down by Alexienko, played back to the defense, and that's Jacob Bradley. Over to the near side in front, and a golden chance. Face-off one, back to the left point for Carrick. Shot on, save made, rebound, kept out. As Alexienko, 4 shots on goal. Nork is trying to change that. Walks in, rising, wrister too high, big bounce in front. Played off the post, follow-up try doesn't go.
Nets off.
Big hit in the corner there. Stepping up is Chris Tomasi for Carrick. Deer Lakes keeps possession of the puck. Centering try and tight score!
50-17 last year for Grondin, which is good in itself, but shows you the step he's taken from junior
Great
to senior.
backhand feed in front, big save made.
The familiar feel of your mitts.
Face-off win, Grondin fires, rebound saved unknowingly by Reed Richardson, who thought he had that puck. Face-off on the right circle, won by the Lancers from the right point, shot on, deflected, score!
Nork is only a sophomore, so he'll be picking up the flag for this program next year. Oh, what
There's
a
a
reaction there.
redirect, big save by Alexienko.
Next period.
It still counts.
Alpha rules. Score! You ask, you shall receive. Goes back to Hagen at the left point, gets around one man, spins away from a second. Hagen to the circle, look at him go. Nice feed in front.
Oh, my goodness.
Save. The first shot was missed, the Semenoff shot was stopped.
Even strength.
Alexienko and Richardson were the goalies that night.
And a big save by Alexienko, as Kevin just mentioned. Landon Jeffrey put it right on Drew Bird's stick. But Lancers thrown back, deflection in front. And a diving effort by the defense. Now it's thrown back. Sprawled out on the ice. Alexienko keeps it out. All the way around the net. Centers again. Shot. Save made. Rebound. Score! Drew Bird would not be denied. The other way. Here comes Toback. Toback. Shot. Pad. Save made. And Very couldn't find the rebound. Thrown back to the net. And Richardson. Another big stop for the Cougars. Catalano takes it back the other way. He'll feed it back to the neutral zone. Jeffries steps up and finishes Stefanik in front of the kid.
It's a PIHL hockey night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
And it comes back to Lucas Blows. Hey, rookie, welcome to the show, the Penguins Cup Championship show, the Penguins Cup Playoff show, and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars putting on a show. Tell the boys and girls I just don't care.
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. We utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace. How can I help?
Would preventative care and screenings be an option?
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest cost on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
What a wonderful day!
Welcome to Temple Strength and Sport Performance, where we empower you to reach new heights in strength, speed, and athletic performance. Temple is here to support you every step of the way. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, join him in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania, and discover the difference. For more information, call 412-527-1755. Start your journey with us today.
Stevenson did get a shot on goal, but it was a right pad save by Hastings. Here comes a chance and a counter and a goal! John
Point shot.
And their teammate almost back clear.
And there it is.
There it is, Bob.
The jinx. Bowser, a lacrosse type goal.
Point shot.
And their teammate almost back clear.
And there it is.
There it is, Bob.
The jinx. Bowser, a lacrosse type goal.
It doesn't happen at the college level. If you can't play 5-on-5 hockey, you're going to be in trouble. So that's what I'm looking for.
You're kind of evaluating, does this...
Absolutely, because that's the hardest thing to teach kids. If we get them at the college level, if they don't already have some of that high IQ built in, it's very difficult to teach that. So sometimes people look at my roster and see that there are a fair number of players from the Pittsburgh area on my rosters, all my teams, even my D1 team. And people go, well, that's...
And he does. They got on Ziegler, not sure he made a save. Got it in front. Zatoski's doing it loose, and it's tapped in. And the Avonworth players there early in this third period. No ice cuts. Normally in the regular season, we'd get an ice cut between periods 2 and 3. We got a goal and a 3-1 lead. That's the Mitch Timsick from Richland. He dropped pass and a trailer and a glove save. Zagorski, the defense, trailing and a better
in there too, so you can't just assume that they're going to get that 2-on-0. Oh!
In front score, Svitolski. Brandon Svitolski, the West Allegheny.
Two jumbo ice caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino. Extra caramel.
That's us. I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
Thank you for calling.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
Back here at the Alpha Ice Complex in Harmarville, about to get period number 3 underway. D2 opening round here of the 2025 Penguins Cup High School Hockey Playoffs on TenbandTV. I'm Matt Vandriak alongside Bob Orquist and Kevin Zomanski here tonight. 3-1 the Lancers lead after one. We'll recap that scoring in a second. Before we do that, because there's a lot of playoff action happening around us tonight, Kevin Zomanski, you have US Air out of town scoreboard.
Neshannock beat Connellsville 4-3 in D2. That's a final. Burrell leads Elizabeth Forward 7-2. And this one here is also in progress, 3-1 Deer Lakes. Elsewhere in single A, Chartiers Valley beat North Catholic 5-0. Moon beat North Hills 5-2. In progress, Mars leads Shaler 2-1. And Quaker Valley and Avonworth are scoreless. In 2A, we did the game here. Fox Chapel beat Cannon Mac 6-3. Penn Trafford 8, Bishop McCourt 4. Big comeback for the Warriors. They were down to Bishop McCourt at 1.43. Greater Latrobe 7, Hempfield 3. That's a final. In progress, Cathedral Prep 4, Armstrong 0. That is in progress. 3A finals, Seneca Valley 3, Pine Richland 1, Upper St. Clair 5, TJ 4, and in progress, South Fayette leads Mount Lebanon 2-0. Lebo was in first place for most of the season in 3A.
Morgantown and Gateway in D2 tomorrow, and Central Catholic at North Allegheny in 3A tomorrow.
Of course, Morgantown, the number 1 seed in D2. They were the division winners of the Gold Division ahead of Carrick. Bob, while we have a second, you want to run down the scoring from the first 2 periods?
So all 3 goals in the first period were all the same, just not sequentially. I'll get those in a second. As
Servone centers.
Norcus had all 3. He's got the hat trick. Actually, his 3rd goal came in the second period. I apologize. Grundon 3 assists, Bogatz 3 assists. So Norcus, Grundon, and Bogatz all on the goals for Deer Lakes. And then for Carrick, they've got the last goal in this game. Drew Bird, his 16th, from Landon Jeffrey and Ivan Mansolich.
Face-off win by the Cougars. Fresh sheet here in the 3rd period. Carrick moving left to right. Deer Lakes the opposite way. And the Lancers with the puck here. Chipped ahead. Here comes Mason Servone. Servone has Grundon going to the net. Spins away with it. Servone, tough angle shot, fires wide. Semenoff trying to work his way out of the zone. Kean Conroy lined up and finished by R.J. Norcus right there.
Didn't really notice Norcus on that break because there's going to be an offside. It delayed anyway.
He lost his blade. He's got to spin his way back to the bench. This is really creative how he's doing it.
That's Servone.
Unintentionally got in the way of Conroy there to break the play up.
The official picked it up over there, his blade. I was trying to figure out what in the world he was doing. He looked like he was intoxicated trying to get up, but he was spinning to try to get to the bench.
From the left point, shot deflected there as Hagan tries to get it on and redirected wide by the Cougars.
That's the way of the world nowadays. Sidney Crosby, one of the few, who has the old school blades. We has to take the skate off. Those replaceable blades come off, and you see that happen all the time.
Yeah, these are more pit crew type blades where you could just pop them in, pop them out. They handed it off to the official. The official's going to make his way up this side of the bench.
He still got it in his left hand.
They gave it to the penalty box. The linesman got it out, gave it to the official. So when he skates past the bench,
that'll be the final hand. So got to be careful with that sharp blade, though.
They did a relay race.
Catalano drives in. Big stop made there as sprawling out as Richardson, net off the moorings. But Reed Richardson, a big save to keep Carrick down 2.
You mentioned Hasek and the Scorpion. That was a Scorpion save for Reed Richardson right there.
Richardson needed every inch of his length there to get out and make that stop. Great effort, too, by Carter Catalano to streak down the left side there. He went backhand to forehand, but the right pad of Richardson in the way. Carrick comes back, trailing by 2 early here in this third period.
Keeps it a 2-goal game, and Semenoff comes out with Jeffrey and Sulich. You throw Bird in there. Those have been the top 4 offensive players for Carrick. There's a stick. It's Mansulich's stick.
And Sulich recovers the timber. And Tomasi going to bring it back for the Cougars.
That's composite, buddy.
Tomasi, look at him go! Score! Chris Tomasi, half man, half amazing, and Carrick cuts the deficit to 1.
11th of the season for Tomasi. And I think he's been their best player, Matt. I think he's been terrific for Carrick. And
he had that really long shift, and he's been noticeable ever since.
He just ran the gauntlet.
So he got fortunate, too, because he came in and he sneaks the shot, Kevin, between Alexienko's pads, and it comes right back to him, the near post. If that hits the pads and goes the other way, it's not a goal. But he's able to get it and tuck it in. Here are the Cougars back within 1.
And as a left shot, he was able to reach back and tuck it in the post. You always want to stop at those posts in case that happens. So he was still moving, but he was able to reach back, and he's given the Cougars life here with a fantastic individual effort.
Well, Carrick really kind of had life breathed in him when they got that first goal by Bird. They've kind of tilted the ice since then, and now have cut the deficit to 1. Catalano racking up the frequent flyer miles as he goes coast to coast. Loose puck center.
He's a defenseman. Twice he's led the rush now.
Norcus swings it off to the right side. Circle shot, skate save made as Bogat's put it on.
Right pad.
Giving out 2 assists again.
Yeah, man, Sulich gets his second assist of the night. Semenoff.
Ethan Semenoff, his first helper.
And we're down to a 1-goal deficit as Carrick gets back into it.
The other important thing there, 2:42 the time of the goal, real early.
Cougars, here they come. Mansulich down the right side. Mansulich trying to go through everybody. Drops it back to Semenoff as he sidestepped what would have been a thundering check from R.J. Norcus. Jeffrey chips it in. After it there for the Lancers now is Bogatz. Bogatz works it around here to the near side. As we see for Carrick out there, Colin Clegg, who we haven't seen a lot of. Big hit in front of the Deer Lakes bench. Norcus got finished off on a heavy thump from Jeffrey.
Good job by Hagen, too. It comes to Gruden with that speed, and that's a penalty coming up.
We're going to see our first penalty of the night.
It's going to be against Carrick. It might be Hagen. He stayed extracurricular on Gruden in the near corner.
Empty net for the Lancers, extra attacker on. Here comes the pass to Bradley, looks it over top of the circle, shot on, save made. Rebound, kept out as Richardson sprawls to keep the deficit 1, but the Lancers will go to the Penny.com power play.
So he makes a great save with the glove and then goes to his left to stop the rebound. It's actually not Hagen, it's Landon Jeffrey who goes to the box.
12 of 47. 25.5% on the season were the Lancers.
Carrick killing at an 82.7% clip.
So that's 4th for the PK. Surprisingly, just 8th on the power play for Deer Lakes.
43 of 52 kills.
Deer Lakes with the puck. Stefanik works his way around the backside. Stefanik to the point on the right side. Point-to-point pass. Bradley takes it from Grunden. Bradley drifts, spins away from him. Bradley working his way, trying to get around Moeller down there, centering, try, stop!
Grunden left circle.
And a big save there by Richardson off the cuff of the glove.
Grunden looks like a rover. Where he's all over the ice. He was at the center point, ends up in the left circle getting that opportunity.
Norcus back the other way. He has all 3 Deer Lakes goals, does R.J. Norcus. Official, nice job there to use his hops to get up and over the puck, but Norcus loses control of it, and Deer Lakes will reset outside of their zone. Stefanik with 1:10 left on the Deer Lakes Penny.com power play. Carrick gets the clear. Good work by Chris Tomasi, who scored a highlight reel goal, but shows his defensive prowess there.
Also, Moeller, good patience, I thought, for a second. He makes a move to his backhand. He might not get it out of the zone, but he did. Under a minute to go in this power play for the Lancers.
Here comes Norcus. All the way around he goes. Norcus sets it up and has it pushed back. Good work. by Hagen.
Were they changing on the backside?
Yes.
That's what happened there. They gave Carrick room when Norquist was going for the skate.
Cougars clear again. Final 30 now of this Deer Lakes Penny.com power play. Keenan can't handle it. Grundon will.
Just one shot by Grundon.
He's going to try to get another one in. Tight shot on and rips that one up and over the net. And now the Cougars going to break back the other way. Semenoff 1-on-4. Semenoff going to draw a penalty.
Slash.
It's got to be, right? Great job. I'm thinking he's good enough just to get that puck in and get it deep. But Keenan, I believe that's Keenan.
You are
It is
correct.
Trevor Keenan on the slash.
And
So you're 15 seconds away from getting a power play after killing off the Deer Lakes man advantage.
Bob, you mentioned this is a Carrick power play that is dangerous.
So 32.4%, which is second, but they've got Tomasi and Birkenfeld and Bird, each 5 apiece. Tomasi has 6 power play goals.
4-on-4 for another 5 net off the moorings.
23 of 71, so 23 power play goals on the season for Carrick.
Deer Lakes killing at an 88.1% clip. That's pretty good.
52 of 59.
7 seconds left of 4-on-4 time, and then it'll be a minute and 46 seconds of Penny.com power play time.
That
for the
88% map, by the way, tops top PK percentage in D2.
So Jeffrey's out of the box. He'll join the power play. Carrick with their first man advantage of the night. A minute and 40 seconds to work with, down by a goal with 10:20 left here in regulation. Winner takes on either Burrow or Elizabeth forward. The Bucks already had the Chile goal, so it's looking pretty good, like they're going to be moving on. Back to the left point, setting it up to Massey. Kind of looked like he was going to pass to Hagen. Keeps, shoots through traffic, blocked. Tomasi gets a second chance, blocked again. Bogat's got the first block. Very got the second one, and the net leaves the moorings, and maybe this goes back to your gamesmanship comment earlier, Bob.
Yep, the Lancers are at home, so Alexienko might know it. The Carrick fan's not happy about it.
And he's also tall enough and flexible enough that he was able to go spread eagle post to post right there. And the surprise he didn't keep it on the moorings the way he had both legs against the sides of the posts.
1:15 left here on this Cougars power play. Bird from the draw, turns, shoots, blocked.
It's 3 blocks now. That was blocked by Dolan.
Yeah, Dolan a good job, but the Lancers can't get it out. Kept in by the Cougars on the right side. Spinning away from a man, there's Mansulich. Mansulich backhands it in front, nobody home. Good read, and it's Norquist who's going to get the clear for Deer Lakes.
Forced that backhand.
The read good, the clear better. They needed that. 50 seconds to go on Carrick's man advantage.
Here comes Semenoff. Cross ice pass with speed. Tomasi enters the zone. Tomasi stripped by Norquist, but able to find it as Jeffrey. Jeffrey looks it over, drops it back to Tomasi along the right wall. Tomasi goes across the ice. Mansulich in the circle, turns it towards the net. Can't get the shot on. Mansulich finds it, and the net off again.
There's nothing they could do. Every year we deal with this. The fans get really animated about it.
It's at the rink. We've seen it before.
It happens all the time. There's nothing you could do. I think there's a bigger concern is maybe they got a few ticks of the clock expire and the official's going to go over and fix it.
Yeah, the Deer Lakes coaching staff making the referee aware of that.
The Carrick coaching staff.
Sorry, the Carrick Lakes coaching staff. Yeah, the Deer Lakes coaching staff probably in favor of what happened.
They stay tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Or I could just make up a school and just say Carrick Lakes, which I just did as well.
It's not a co-op, right? Got a co-op going on with Carrick.
Yeah, I can't remember who all the Deer Lakes co-ops are. I was told a couple weeks ago, and now I can't remember.
Riverview's one of them, I think.
Riverview's with the Borough Co-op.
Okay, I knew I read that somewhere. I think Avonworth was co-oping.
They were for a while.
Several years.
They got their own team now.
Right.
Yeah.
I just ran this down when I was at Borough last week with the PIHL guys to figure out who was where. As a Carrick player gets taken down and is still down.
He's falling on top of the puck, grabbing at the back of his head.
Avonworth did it the way you're supposed to. They were in the co-op. They got organized, increased their numbers, reluctantly went into the pure division, and now they're in the playoffs for a few years in a row. So good on them.
Can't see who the injured Carrick player is, but he is not moving.
There's movement now, but I don't think it was anything egregious, like a hit.
He lost.
Just they got tangled up, right?
Yeah, he lost an edge and then had a guy fall on top of him, and kind of maybe favoring his upper back a little bit there. I can't see what Cougar player that is. I think it's Tomasi.
I think you're right.
She's making him move his fingers and his shoulders. Maybe he got a stinger?
I think you might be right, Kevin. I think he might have, when he went in, kind of hit the boards at a really odd angle. Good thing is he's sitting up and moving everything, so that's a good start.
Stinger's scary, right? Much like when you lose your breath.
Yeah. It looked like at first he just had fallen on the loose puck, but now
she's checking his follow my finger movements now. That's usually concerned with head contact.
I think his head hit the boards a little bit. He had a guy fall on top of him, too, whoever that was on Deer Lakes with him. Whenever he went down.
That's her captain.
Yeah, that is Tomasi. And
Mansulich.
I'm sorry, Mansulich, yeah. So Mansulich, luckily.
Looks like he's going to be okay, and that's big, trailing by a goal, right?
And Mansulich not happy there wasn't a penalty called on the play, but
slammed his helmet down, too.
Still 9 seconds left on this Carrick power play.
But they've got a face-off in their own zone.
Mansulich motioning to the official in front of the bench. Hey, come on, that was a cross-check. I didn't catch the beginning of that play. I just saw Mansulich go into the corner with that odd fall. Lancers get the penalty kill, so each team 0 for 1 on the Penny.com power play, and Deer Lakes maintains the 1-goal lead. Working back into his own zones, Tomasi, pressure on the play, turns the puck over. Norkus looking in front. Grundon's pass, or Grundon, the recipient of the pass, cut off by Hagen and back the other way. Here comes Ethan Semenoff. Semenoff gets around Dolan. Semenoff drives, shoots, pass, save made by Alexienko.
I liked about that. Carrick, even though they're down a goal, they had 5 blue shirts in front of their goal. They make the play, and they get the transition, and now they've still got O-zone time here.
Centering try, comes back to Tomasi, shot through traffic, and using his head is Nikita Alexienko to make the save. Hagen through traffic, fires wide as the Cougars turning it up here, trying to get this tying goal. Jeffrey pushes his way through Dolan. Norkus will take it for the Lancers, circle out, up the far side, chip back into neutral ice.
That time, Kevin, you could hear the Carrick bench, right? We were talking about communication and how we haven't had it at times. You can hear on that dump and the chase, the communication.
Semenoff back to Jeffrey, but the return pass cut off by Jacob Bradley. Lancers out, trying to find Austin Very, pass too far, and this one will be icing. Face-off back in the home zone to our right.
Not sure if they've done anything systematically to control the trio for the Lancers, but Carrick is kind of reeled in control of this game and established some momentum and put some shots in threatening areas and forced the goalkeeper, Alexienko, to make some saves.
26 shots for Carrick, 25 for Deer Lakes. Lancers lead 3-2. All 3 Lancers goals scored by R.J. Norkus. Carrick getting goals from Drew Bird and Chris Tomasi. Tomasi's by far the nicest goal tonight. Austin Very back the other way for Deer Lakes. Very centers off the blocker of the keeper, Richardson.
Oh.
Big check on the backside there against Blake Toback. Back to the right point, save made, rebound loose, and found by Richardson on that point shot by Bogats.
So it's Birkenfeld who makes the check, but then he gets tangled up. He doesn't get out front in time enough. Unfortunately, Richardson, who's also been good, makes the save, keeps Carrick within 1.
Good low shot by Bogats right there.
He's got 3 helpers in this one.
Good to see Mansulich back out there as well for Carrick. Shaking off that injury. And now we see Birkenfeld throw it back into the Deer Lake zone. Going to chase after it, but Austin Very gets there first. Very brings it around here to the near side. Clegg for Carrick. He's on. Colin Clegg hasn't seen a lot of action, but gets that one back towards the net. Alexienko puts the glove down, gets a bit of a quick whistle, and then a Carrick player ends up on his rump.
Hey, Doug, is blading to try to get that puck. And look at Alexienko. He's out there letting him know.
Not happy with Shane Birkenfeld.
Actually, Very took the player down, but you got to stick out for your goalie. Alexienko said, no, I can handle my own, right? He gave the Carrick player. Yeah, he was. Well, you said he was active, so that fits the bill.
Now he's active and aggressive.
Kurt Angle had the 3 eyes. Nikita Alexienko maybe has the 3 A's. He was an all-star, right?
He was.
There you go, 3 A's. Active, aggressive, all-star. Moeller back the other way, going to float it back towards the Deer Lakes net. Sticked aside by Alexienko. And the Lancers try to set up as we approach the 6-minute mark remaining here in this third
that
period.
Was a set play.
Opportunity back the other way for Grundon. He has Servone with him. Grundon slows it down. Penalty coming
it's a hook. Penalty shot, maybe?
It might be. Deer Lakes throws it down. Carrick touches.
Nope, just the power play.
The hook. And that'll send the Lancers to the man advantage for the second time tonight with the Penny.com power play.
So it's a set play, right? But the D pinches, if they make the play, it's not going the other way, but they miss. And that leaves Grundon with the speed. So really not a bad penalty, right? That's the guy, if he's coming in on your goalie, you want to maybe take the penalty on.
They went D to D to the corner, and I couldn't figure out why they were going back to the side where the puck was just passed because there was a lot of traffic, but they used the rim to Grundon, who was stretching, and Tomasi pinched to try to keep it in, but he didn't get it.
In front, redirect, blocked down, and cleared out by the defense. That's a great play there by Ivan Mansulich. Just take that bouncing puck and keep it away after the goaltender. Richardson got a piece of the first offering.
Max Redinger with a low deflection.
Here comes Norkus looking for 4. Norkus centers. And again, it's Mansulich with the steal and the clear.
Keep in mind, Grundon just has 3 power play goals. Leading power play man is Servone for Deer Lakes with 4.
Here he comes. Servone to the left circle. Slows it down now. Drops the puck down low, hustling after it. There's Grundon.
He's got that Wayne Gretzky shirt tucked in. Servone. That's another penalty against Carrick.
So the Cougars are going to be 2 men short. And it's going to be a 5-on-3 for a full 60 seconds.
It's going to be a hold. 4:59 left. This is a chance for Deer Lakes to get some insurance in a big way as Hagen goes off for holding.
Yeah, this is the game right here, fellas. A full 2-minute advantage for a full 1 minute. So it's 1 minute left on the first, and now 2 minutes will start the second with only 4:59 remaining in the game.
Deer Lakes leads 3-2, and the Lancers on the regular season, they were 25.5% on the power play. Carrick killing at 82.7%. Each team 0 for 1 with the man advantage so far tonight, but now we'll see a 5-on-3 and a chance for the...
It's a big draw. Norkus wins.
And Norkus has all 3 goals. Walks out, scores again! Mason Servone set up by Norkus. And the Lancers strike 6 seconds into the 5-on-3. Bob Askin, you shall receive Mason Servone on the power play.
Yeah, that's a 6. We just talked about it. Norkus wins the draw for Mansulich, and with the extra open ice, Servone walks off the boards in and goes top shelf and in tight. That's 26 now on the season for Servone, and that should be point number 4 for R.J. Norkus, and that's a big insurance marker for Deer Lakes, back up by 2.
Even bigger, Bob, the 2-goal lead, and now 1 minute and 50 seconds still of Penny.com power play time here for the Lancers. Here comes Norkus. Centers. Tomasi makes the steal. He's going to come back short-handed 1-on-3. Tomasi pushes it ahead, finds the puck, tries to lean into Bradley, and Bradley wins the battle, pushing it back here now to Grundon. Redinger. Servone. Shot on. Pad save made by Richardson. Minute and 20 left. Power play time here. Nice move by Norkus. He scores! R.J. Norkus. 2. Sweet tonight.
Goal number 4. He counts it off. R.J. Norkus does as he comes to the bench. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back-to-back power play goals. And it's a 3-goal cushion for the Lancers.
Deer Lakes 5-2, fourth on the night for RJ Norkus. And if she didn't put it down yet, the fat lady might be getting ready to drop the hot dog and start singing.
Well, special teams are always a big part of the game. Making opponents pay for mistakes, taking advantage of opportunities, and that's what the Lancers did.
That's going to be head contact there.
That's a hit from behind.
So Bradley's going to sit for 2 and probably 10.
Be careful you don't want to get a match penalty, right?
Correct.
Thrown out because you got to sit out the next game.
You're within 5 minutes, too, which will be an extra game.
It's a boarding call.
That's Keenan, actually.
Yeah, and I think that might be the only penalty.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything added on to it. We'll see if anyone else goes to the bench.
Fan got thrown out. So you left a little bit of breathing room right now for Carrick with that hit from behind.
We'll see.
Can the fat lady just hold the hot dog and sing, Matt? Does she have to put it down?
She can give it to me, actually, because I might go for a hot dog right now, to be honest with you.
She took another bite. She wasn't ready to start singing.
Not yet.
Not yet. Big chance here for Carrick. 4 minutes left and a full 2 minutes to work with here on this Penny.com power play try. Cougars 0 for 1 with the man advantage. Remember, they had that abbreviated power play. Draw one by the Cougars along the left wing side. Kean Conroy. Bradley gets the only assist on the Norkus power play tally. Conroy behind the net, wraparound try, save made. As Mansulich tried to bring it out, but Alexienko equal to the challenge.
Yeah, Mansulich kind of slid off the stick a little bit. Couldn't get really the true wraparound the angle he needed.
Hagen goes coast to coast. He's cut off. Good defensive work there by Deer Lakes, and then Hagen ends up on the ice.
I think it was Birkenfeld. We've got another penalty. It is. What are you doing, Lancers?
It's going to be not a very good time to take a penalty.
Not at all. You just built a 2-goal cushion, a 3-goal cushion with 2 goals, a 5-on-3 and a 5-on-4. Now you've given this opportunity for Carrick to hang around. Richardson is going to come off. It's going to be 6-on-3.
Hagen, holding the back of his head, immediately went off the ice.
He got cross-checked, it looked like, from behind there.
Definitely, that's what happened.
Deer Lakes is just lucky that's all it is a 2. Because both of those penalties could have been 2s and 10s.
Yeah, you got it right. So they go 6-on-3.
Net empty to our left. Lancers down 3. Have a minute and 19 seconds of 5-on-3. Penny.com power play time to work with.
Big win.
Back to the point, Mansulich. Spins and looks it over. Through traffic. Loose puck bouncing. Doesn't go. Bird shot kept out. Centers. Semenov misses the net. Mansulich at the right point. Settles it. Drifts. Down low. Jeffrey in front. And it hops over to Massey's stick, I'm sorry. Tomasi settles it. Shoots through traffic. Save made, Alexienko. And there is no rebound.
You know, Matt, when you have a goalie this aggressive, you have to utilize the shot fake because he's pushing out. He's leaving some room behind himself on the sides. So you got to use the shot fake, and you got to get to the side here for the redirects.
Face-off won by the Cougars. Tomasi has his pocket pick. Good play there by Grundon. Centering try, Semenov. Can't find it, and now short-handed. Here comes Grundon back the other way. To the empty net, Grundon fires wide. Grundon almost gets a crack at the rebounds with another alpha bounce. Tomasi and the Cougars going to bring it back as Jeffrey takes the lead feed. 4-on-3s, they enter the zone. Back to Birkenfeld. Birkenfeld back into the circle. One-timer, save made. Bird with the in-tight rip, and Alexienko denies that. Long shot, pad save Alexienko.
Left arm, left pad.
Down low, Alexienko, another stop, follow-up try, and Bird can't believe he didn't put it home. Alexienko looking up to the rafters because there's a Harbor Township police officer ready to unloosen his handcuffs. Alexienko's committing robbery this period.
Because the net is off.
Yeah, the Bird shot wouldn't have counted. It was the one that passed from the right point to the left side of the post.
It was the arm save, right?
Yeah.
On the Berg rip.
That was a good save right there. Then it went over the Berg, but they had blew the whistle. Still 9 seconds to go here.
On the 5-on-3, pass to the right side. Centering try. Semenoff to the net, blocked. Great job there by Norkus, working his own zone. Norkus hit hard by Birkenfeld.
Keenan's out.
So we're down to 35 seconds now of 5-on-4 power play time. Long shot, pad save, follow try. Tomasi rips wide. Shooting gallery in the zone to our right, but Carrick has nothing to show for it. And that was a 6-on-3 for a while. And now we stay 6-on-4 for 20 seconds. Final 95 seconds of regulation coming up too. And Carrick, season coming down to this. Nikita Alexienko, a big part of the reason why Deer Lake still leads by 3. Centering try. Tomasi, save Alexienko, rebound, and Bird misses.
That'll be his 30th save as penalties are over.
Here comes Catalano with the empty net. Catalano with the finish. And the Lancers punch their ticket for the semifinals next Thursday night as Carter Catalano tallies the ENG. Deer Lake 6, Carrick 2.
Well, here's a stat you might not want to hear if you're Carrick, right? This is going to be Deer Lakes in the semifinals for the 3rd straight season. The last 2 seasons, now make it 3, they've beaten Carrick in this round of the playoffs. 6-0, 5-1. This one right now it's 6-2.
3-1s left on the 3rd period clock.
Touch it for luck.
I'm going to give your Deer Lakes.
That'd be 11-11. We'll still take it.
We will. Norkus takes a spill.
I missed that reference. I don't understand that one.
We'll get you up to speed later.
Okay.
Lucas Benedict out there. We talked about Benedict. He's one of 3 Carrick players we saw wearing the specs, so they kind of do it the Hanson brothers, but we got Chili.
Servone.
Centering finish, and Servone tallies the 7th. Deer Lakes with 52.9 seconds left. Kevin, they get the Chili goal.
Wendy's 2 blocks away, guys. I'm buying.
Chili.
If you weren't watching hockey in the late 80s, then you have no idea what we're talking about. But I had to explain this on a college broadcast yesterday. Back in the 1980s.
And the 70s.
And the Penguins games at the Civic Arena, if the Penguins scored 7 goals, you got free Wendy's chili. You will not get free Wendy's chili at the Harmerville Wendy's, even if Bobby said so, unless he buys it for you.
I will buy it.
And I think if you would happen to get Wendy's chili, as I mentioned to the people who were driving back to Niagara University yesterday, I'd recommend swinging by Sheetz or Get Go and getting some toilet paper for the ride home as well.
So Servone gets 2, Norkus with 4, Catalano the empty netter.
And the Lancers have 7.
They survived the almost 2 costly penalties, right? Allowing Carrick in. They almost get another one.
Looking for more. Big save made, and now we get a whistle afterwards. And now
That's not the puck was never such a quick whistle.
Yeah, I didn't think it was handled, and then we get the
Carrick is acting like it was not loose, and it was. Of course, when the whistle blows, you put it in your net. That's kind of the reaction. But
Richardson made a good save there on Servone, who was looking for his 3rd.
We're going to get coincidentals, it looks like.
Off for Deer Lakes is going to be Jaden Eisenman. And we'll see Brian Pollock sit down for the Cougars.
So 3 straight appearances in the semis.
We have confirmation on a final yet, but we know that Burrow was up big on Elizabeth Forward.
Burrow was the team that Deer Lakes lost to in the semis last year.
They will meet again, likely, unless Elizabeth Forward had a huge comeback in that game at Pittsburgh Ice tonight.
Kevin will confirm that for us.
Final 40 seconds of regulation. Bouncing puck thrown back towards the net there by Redinger. And Richardson will hold. 3 of the 4 D2 opening round games tonight.
It's a final. Burrell 7, Elizabeth Forward 3.
Chili in that one as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, Morgantown and Gateway tomorrow is the final quarterfinal matchup.
That game at the Princecape Arena in South Point, so saves Gateway a little bit of mileage instead of having to go to the Morgantown Municipal Ice Rink. Here comes Stefanik back the other way.
Wait till we get outside. It's going to be chilly there, too.
Save made. Follow-up try. Richardson another stop. 3rd crack. I think Richardson might have got a leg on it.
So he makes a right toe save, and then he almost stacks the pads and flips the left leg up in desperation to knock that wide.
Trevor Keenan thought he was going to get a playoff goal. Richardson had other ideas, but in the end, the Deer Lakes Lancers are moving on. Deer Lakes punching their ticket for the semifinals. They have a date with the Burrell Buccaneers, 2 versus 3, next Thursday night, March 13th, 8:45 p.m. at the RMU Island Sports Complex on Neville Island. Well, Carrick made it interesting, fellas. They cut the deficit to 3-2, but the Lancers get the last 4, a couple of big Penny.com power play goals, and a big night for R.J. Norkus as Deer Lakes is moving on.
For a good part, guys, of the second period and part of the third, Carrick was the better team. But the 5-on-3 tips the scales in a big way late for Deer Lakes.
And Alexienko was a big part of that goal.
I agree with you, yep.
Alexienko stopping 31-33. Kevin, you want to run it down real quick before we wrap it up?
Yeah, at 9-12, Norkus is first of the game from Grundon and Bogats, and then 15-12, Norkus again from Bogats and Grundon. And then 55 seconds into the second, Norkus for the hat trick from Grundon and Bogats. Stop me if you heard that. And then Carrick gets on the board, Drew Bard, at 9:28 of the second from Landon Jeffrey and Yvonne Mansuich. And then it was 3-1 Deer Lakes at intermission. Carrick scored at 2:42 of the third. Chris Tomasi, even strength from Ethan Semenoff and Masuich. It made it 3-2, and we had life, and we thought we were going to be close. And then there was 2 penalties taken by Carrick. 5-on-3 opportunity for the Lancers. Mason Cervone on the power play from Ryan Grundon at 12:08. At 12:40, Norkus from Jacob Bradley. That made it 5-2. Then we had an empty net goal by Carter Catalano from Mason Cervone, and then one more for good measure and a good bowl of chili, Mason Cervone from Ryan Grundon and R.J. Norkus. 7-2, the final shots on goal. Carrick 9-13-1, total of 23.
33.
Oh, okay. It should say, I guess, 11. It says 1 on the website, so thanks for the correction. Deer Lakes 12-8-4. So these are in progress. 35 total shots on goal.
Yes, they have a 12, 8, and 14. Regardless, Bob, the Lancers moving on again. They've had Carrick's number, and we should see a pretty good semifinals matchup next Thursday when we'll be at the RMU Island Sports Center for Deer Lakes and Burrell. Another round.
Give them credit, Deer Lakes, again. Less depth. Carrick comes back within 1, but they hold it off in special teams. They turn the trick. So back on October 14th, Deer Lakes lost to Burrell 3-1. November 4th, they beat Burrell by a score of 4-1, and they lost in overtime on February 6th, 2-1. So it is a semifinal rematch from last year between the Bucks and the Lancers.
If those regular season scores hold up, we should see a pretty close game coming up. Next Thursday, we'll be there. You should be there too. 8:45 p.m. Burrell and Deer Lakes in the D2 semifinals at the RMU Island Sports Complex. For Kevin Zemansky and Bob Orquist, Matt Vandriak saying thank you so much for tuning in and watching the 2025 PIHL Penguins Cup High School Hockey Playoffs. Final score again here from Alpha Ice in Harmerville. Deer Lake 7, Carrick 2. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good night, everyone.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.
12 goals, 10 assists, 22 points. And Chris Tomasi, 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. Point blast, save made. Alexienko holds on to a long shot, glove down by Alexienko, played back to the defense, and that's Jacob Bradley. Over to the near side in front, and a golden chance. Face-off 1, back to the left point for Carrick. Shot on, save made, rebound, kept out. As Alexienko, 4 shots on goal. Norkus trying to change that. Walks in, rising, wrister too high. Big bounce in front. Played off the post. Follow-up try doesn't go.
Nets off.
Big hit in the corner there. Stepping up is Chris Tomasi for Carrick. Deer Lakes keeps possession of the puck. Centering try and tight score!
50-17 last year for Grundon, which is good in itself, but shows you the step he's taken from junior to senior.
Great backhand feed in front. Big save made.
The familiar feel of your mitts.
Face-off win. Grundon fires. Rebound saved unknowingly by Reed Richardson, who thought he had that puck. Face-off on the right circle. Won by the Lancers from the right point. Shot on. Deflected. Score!
Norkus only a sophomore, so he'll be picking up the flag for this program next year. Oh, what
there's
a
a
reaction
redirect. Big save by Alexienko.
Next period.
It still counts.
Alpha rules. Score! You ask, you shall receive. Comes back to Hagen at the left point, gets around one man, spins away from a second. Hagen to the circle, look at him go. Nice straight in front.
Oh, my goodness.
Save. The first shot was missed. The Semenoff shot was stopped.
Even strength.
Alexienko and Richardson were the goalies that night.
And a big save by Alexienko, as Kevin just mentioned. Landon Jeffrey put it right on Drew Bird's stick. But Lancers thrown deflection in front. And a diving effort by the defense. Now it's thrown back. Sprawled out on the ice. Alexienko keeps it out. All the way around the net. Centers again. Shot. Save made. Rebound. Score! Drew Bird would not be denied. The other way. Here comes Toback. Toback shot. Pad. Save made. And Very couldn't find the rebound. Thrown back to the net. And Richardson. Another big stop for the Cougars. Catalano takes it back the other way. He'll feed it back to the neutral zone. Jeffries steps up and finishes Stefanik in front of him.
So gotta be careful with that sharp blade, though.
They did a relay race.
Catalano drives in. Big stop made there as sprawling out as Richardson, net off the mooring. And Tomasi gonna bring it back for the Cougars.
That's composite, buddy.
Tomasi, look at him go! Score! One with the man advantage so far tonight, but now we'll see a 5-on-3 and a chance for the...
It's a big draw. Norkus wins.
And Norkus has all 3 goals, walks out, scores again! Left power play time here. Nice move by Norkus, he scores!
Save as penalties are over.
Here comes Catalano with the empty net. Catalano with the finish. And the Lancers speed later. Lucas Benedict out there. We talked about Benedict. He's one of 3 Carrick players we saw wearing the specs, so they kind of do it the Hanson brothers, but we got chilly. 25, PIHL Penguins Cup High School Hockey Playoffs. Final score again here from Alpha Ice in Harmarville. Deer Lake 7, Carrick 2. Thanks for tuning in, and
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a great day for PIHL hockey.